All right, guys. Welcome to the Fundamental Bias COT weekly review for the week of November 8th. So we're gonna start in a couple of minutes. So I'm just gonna wait for everyone to come on. So as we all do on Fridays, we look at what happened in the market and see exactly for the actual pairs that we were looking at for the week, if they were moving, and if we have any setups that was called out with Enigma. So we're just gonna review that real quick on Friday, so that way we're gonna end the week nicely. Okay, so we're gonna start in a couple of minutes. I'm just gonna wait for everyone to come on, and we're gonna start. All right. All right, perfect. So we're gonna start in a couple of minutes. Hope everyone had a great week of trading. It's not the quantity of trade that you take for the week; it's the quality of trade. That's really important, guys. Me personally, I do not trade every day. This week, I only took a trade on Monday, and that was the end of my week here. So for sure, Enigma is giving you a lot of setups, but you have to make sure that the setup makes sense for you guys, for you personally, and uh, and and if you add the technical matches that our educators are giving you, you're gonna be ahead of the game every time. Okay, you should be profitable every week. So that being said, we're gonna start. So let me share my screen. All right, perfect. So like we said, beginning of Monday, those were the pair that we were looking at. So we have Euro GBP, GBP JPY, GBP USD, JP AUD, JP CAD, JP NZD, JP CHF, and the US ZAR. Okay, and on top of that, I told you guys that the big movers for the week, based on the commercials, were the euros, the GBP, the Australian dollar, New Zealand dollar, and the Swiss. Okay. So what we're gonna do, I'm gonna go on TradingView. I have the list here of the currency pair that we're looking for the week. Like every start of the week, guys, I put my watch it with the COT pairs, the fundamental bias pairs that we have to look at for the week. Okay, I put it on the list here, and that's only those that I'm looking at. Okay, perfect. So for the review, what we do is we look at the weekly first, and then we're gonna go down on the 1 hour to see if we have any setups. Okay, so let's look. Let's start with Euro GBP. Perfect. Let's look at the 1 hour. The weekly. Sorry. So what we want to see is if we had any movement in the week for that pair. Okay, if we had a strong candle, if it's a up candle, a down candle, like I was before, I was giving you guys the actual bias for the weekly, like the actual direction. But now, what we only want to give you guys is the pairs to look at, okay? Because Enigma will give you exactly the best setups, regardless if it's an uptrend or downtrend week, okay? The only thing that we want to make sure is that that pair is moving, okay? So this is a weekly chart, okay? So every candle is 1 week, okay? So here this week, it was a bearish week for Euro GBP, okay? And there was a nice movement. Why? Because the candle closed bearish and it was a fill candle, okay? So when you see like wicks like that and it's a doji or type of candle, those are the weeks that you may not have good setups, okay? But though a week like that is a good week for setups, okay? That's what we want. So let's go down on 1 hour and see what we had. All right, so we're only looking at the week of the 8th, so this is the week here. So we want to have one setup here, and let's see what we had. So it was a buy signal from Enigma, a buy setup. The J was here, but it was only consolidated here until the end of the week. And you see that this day it was a flat day, right? The reason why is it was Veterans Day. So it was a holiday. Banks were closed. So it's always important, guys, to look at the news calendar and the stat holidays to see if the banks are closed or not. Because if the banks are closed, less volatility in the market, meaning less trades, meaning less setups, meaning if you have a setup with Enigma, it may not hit, and it didn't hit at all that day. Okay, so that was a loss if you took it. But on a holiday, guys, go enjoy your family, do something else. Do not trade that day. Okay, regardless of the holiday. Okay, regardless if there's movement in the market, because you may have movement in the market on a stat holiday, specifically like on Labor Day in September. There usually every year there's good setup. So you could write it down, guys. On Labor Day, it's the best day to trade, but you have to make sure that you see the best setup here. Okay, because there's movement in the market overall. But me personally, I do not trade on holidays. Okay, so basically there was no trade here, no setup here from Enigma. Next, we're gonna look at GBP JPY. Okay, so GBP JPY. So this week we had that was a doji here. So there was a small movement, but not a lot. But we'll see if we have any setups here. Okay. So no setups at all. I don't know for you guys, but this week, like I said, I only took one trade, and that was on Monday, and then I left it alone because usually my model is that if there's a stat holiday, I do not trade the day before and the day after. Okay, but since the stat holiday was on Thursday, that means Wednesday and Friday. Usually Friday I do not trade at all, but Wednesdays usually you have good setups. But since it was a stat holiday on Thursday, I did not trade on Wednesday, and I always wait for Monday or Tuesday to start trading. So this week was a chill week for me. It wasn't a lot of a trade at all. So make sure that you follow your your trading style and your rules. Okay, so don't deviate on your rules here on that. So GPUSD. So it was a sell. It was a downtrend. It was still going on downtrend for the last 3 weeks overall. Let's look at the hour chart. All right, let's look at. So we had a good setup here on the 10th. Let's look at it. That smashed TP3 right away. So the entry was here, then it hit TP1, and then went back up to your entry. So you have two opportunities to get in the trade for a sell, and that was a good movement and a nice setup here. Okay, so that's a win. Now have let's see, GBAUD. Let's look at the weekly. And if we go back, guys, I told you the big movers for the week, we had GBP. And so far, all the GBP pairs, okay, except the GBJPY, they were moving nicely, okay, overall. So GU, we sell. Let's look at the hourly chart and see if we had any setups. Oh, sorry. Let's go. It's GR. I wanted to look at. We already look at GU. It's GR. Let's look at GR on a weekly. Yeah, that was a good setup here. We're going to go back to it, but we're just going to look at the movement here on GR. So GR, great setup here. Excellent setup. Okay. And I told you guys last week that GR was maybe going to reverse. Okay. And it was a reversal week here. Went was bearish here most of the week. So let's look at GR on the hourly. Perfect. So GR was a great trade. I think most of you guys know a few people in the group took that trade. GR was a really nice trade. So entry right here. It went to TP2, went back down, and then went back up for TP3. Okay, so you had two opportunities to get in the trade. Same thing as Euro GBP. You had two setups in the same trade to get in. So you could scale in your trade if you want. Okay, but you have to be advanced to do that. But only one position, guys. You'll be profitable. Don't need to have a lot of position or a lot of trades going on. Only one trade a week profitable. You're gonna increase your portfolio. Okay, you don't need to have a lot of of trades overall. Okay, perfect. So far so good, guys. So type the number one just to make sure that first you can hear me, because I don't want to speak by myself. I love to hear myself, but I'm doing that for you guys. So I want to make sure that everything is you can see, you can hear anything, and I want to make sure that everyone can follow through. So type the number one if everything is good on your end, and we're gonna continue. It's not gonna be a long webinar today, guys. We didn't have a lot of pairs here, so let's go back on the weekly and look at GBP CAD. So GBP CAD is a trade that I think I sent out. Yes, the Enigma in the free signal. Send out the trade here for you guys. If you're a free member, you should have received that notification here for that trade. But we're gonna look at the movement. So it was a little bit bullish here on GCAD on the weekly. So we're looking at the hourly and see if we had any setups. So the best setup was basically on Wednesday and as you can see, it was a sell entry here. And guys, you know what? I took that trade. That was my only trade for the week. My TP was right there. Okay. So if you're on the Forex Mastery, you have access to Forex Mastery, guys, you know exactly the importance of that zone. Okay. If you don't know that, make sure to get the Forex Mastery with Enigma, because if you add Enigma, the tool, with the education, guys, you're gonna be profitable. Okay. You know exactly what to look at in the market and where your exit is in the market. Even though Enigma was giving me a TP3 right here, my take profit was right here, right there. And if you look at that, it's how many pips here? There's another 40 pips more from the original TP3. Okay. So that's a win, and that was Friday today. So no trade on Fridays. But see, guys, if you add fundamental, the COT, with Enigma, you're gonna be profitable. Okay, great. So next, we're gonna look at the GPNZD. GPNZD moving nicely, and on top of that, on a weekly, you have Enigma signal here for a sell. So we'll see what's gonna happen for next week. But let's look at the hourly chart and see if we had any setups overall for the week. So we did have a setup for sell on Monday. That's another trade that I was looking at, but I didn't took the trade, but it was a good setup overall, guys. So it was a sell. That was the entry. It went to TP2, okay, and then reversed. Okay. So far, guys, on every pair, I think maybe one pair you didn't have any setup at all for with Enigma, but most of them you only had one pair for the one trade, one setup sent out for Enigma for the week. You don't need a lot of trade, guys. Okay, if you want to like scaling your trade, you could do that, but you have to be a little bit advanced to know how to scale in a trade. Okay, but overall, you don't need to scale in at all. Okay, and most of the trade that we had for the week, guys, it hit TP3, most of them. So GBP CHF, same thing, same day. We had on the 10th sell, went to TP3. Okay, so if you had held on your trade, TP3 right here. Okay, great. And lastly, we're going to look at the ZAR. ZAR going up here. Same thing on the 10th. You had an entry for a buy, smash TP3. Okay, so far, guys, all of the trades from the week, if you followed COT, the commitment of traders, the fundamental bias, you would have been profitable overall. Okay, very profitable. So let's just gonna stop sharing here. Perfect. So as you can see, guys, it's really simple, guys. If you do your fundamental bias or your fundamental first, like I said, before you take the exam, you have to study. When you study and you have the best information, you're able to ace your test, right? So since we did our fundamental bias, we know exactly which pair to look at for the week. We focus on only them, and then we just have to wait for Enigma signal or technical analysis on top of Enigma, and then you just have to execute your trade, and that's it. You just have to. You're gonna be profitable overall, guys. So starting next week, what we're gonna do, I'm gonna revise our COT process here. I may add indices on the fundamental bias for COT. So just see exactly if I drop them tomorrow or Sunday, and see exactly if we're gonna be able to do that. If not, it's gonna be next week. But don't worry, guys. The indices will be added as our bias here. Okay. So the only bias for uptrend or downtrend you're gonna see on our COT will be for indices. Okay. So anything related to forex, you're not gonna have like a buy or sell. Okay. But since we gonna have indices, you're gonna have a specific bias here for the week. Hey, Fanita, great to see you. Perfect. Yeah. So on Monday, what we're gonna do is we're gonna review overview the week for next week here. That'll be the 15th, and we're gonna look at the pairs that are gonna be moving. Basically, you should have, if you're a paid member or VIP member, by tomorrow you should have access to our the fundamental buys here for the forex pairs. Maybe tonight or tomorrow, it depends. And then on Monday we're just going to review them together, and then on Friday, next Friday, we're going to do a review that we did today, and see exactly if our fundamental buys here, the COT, was accurate or not, and if we have any setups here overall. Okay, so if you have any questions, I'm just going to wait, stay here for a couple of minutes. If not, we'll close the webinar here, and can get on with your weekend. I know it was a busy week for everyone, so make sure to relax, prepare for next week for trading, and get some energy on. Okay, so if you have any questions, let me know. If not, we're gonna close the session right now. So, and for the indices, guys, it could be, what I'm gonna add is that the S&P 500, the Nasdaq, the US 30. So even maybe the oil, I'll check it out, but I'll revise that within the next 24 hours, and I'll let you know exactly what I'm gonna add here. Perfect. No problem, Fanita. All right, great. Okay, so since there's no questions, guys, we're gonna close the webinar right now. So if you have any questions after this webinar, if you're looking at the replay on YouTube or on the Facebook group, make sure to put your question in the description box or in the comments section, and could be me or any of our community group who will be able to assist you. And if you have any questions, you could, if you're our VIP member, you can always put your question in the Trade Talks, okay, section in Discord, and we're gonna be able to answer your questions. Okay, perfect. So on that note, I wish you a wonderful end of your week, great weekend, and we're gonna talk to you guys on Monday on our fundamental bias overview for the week of November 15th. Okay, so on that note, I'll leave you at that. Bye, guys.